All right. Welcome to Anecdote of a Houndsman's Free Castin. I think we already got some people on tonight. I'm gonna have a show tonight, kind of planned. I have Rowdy Houndsman coming on. We'll probably talk a little trash about people minding their business on the internet. Um, Life of a lion hunter, how lonely it is. I'm gonna have Nicholas Isaac come on and talk about his book. I listened to his book. I started reading his book because he sent me a book, and then he sent me a link to my wife's on. I gotta watch what I say now. He sent me a link to his book so I could listen to it because I drive a lot, and I did listen to it, and it surprised me about who he is. I've only known him on the internet and talked to him, to find out little things. So he's supposed to get on here in a little bit. So he's doing this working thing. Oh, crap. Hang on. I hope you can hear me. I put my earplugs in too. So I can hear everybody else when they jump on. So there's Rowdy. Rowdy jumping on now. We're gonna talk to Rowdy about some lion hunting. He's out camping right now. I hope you guys can hear me. He's out camping right now, so he had to drive like a little bit to get service. So let's center myself. That's what we got going on tonight. Trash talk and a little dive into Niklas Isaac. Very amazing book. So let me see here. Oh, some other things real quick before I get Rowdy on. We got sportsmansforheroes.com. That's Sonny Tapia, big butthole, but he does good. If you don't know him, it's a love-hate with Sonny. You either like him or you don't, like a lot of people on the internet. I've known him. I don't know if I like him yet. Maybe I will. Maybe he'll grow on me. But sportsmansforheroes.com, throw a donation. He takes kids, vets, whoever he can. The book we're talking about is Cat Dog Chronicles. When he gets on, he'll tell you where to get that. And I've heard some dumb shit on the internet. Yes, I cuss on this one because this one's mine, not me and Brett's. I try to behave there. But Save the Hunt Colorado is about the Colorados fighting the lion hunting. It's not just that, it's the hounds, and it's just they'll chop a piece away, is what they'll do. So once they just keep moving state to state. These guys need the money to fight it, and once they fight it, I'm thinking we'll have a protocol and money to fight the rest. And for those of you who say it's not worth it, you're stupid. I don't care who you are. You're stupid. Anyways, let's bring Rowdy on so he could talk shit with me. Right, Rowdy?
Hey, so excuse me. So as far as that Save the Hunt Colorado, how many millions of hound hunters, or well, just hunters in general, right? So how many thousands and thousands of hound hunters do we have? If 100,000 of
So,
us donated $100,
yep.
then they would have their $10 million
He
dollars.
so Dave
So
Gates, Dan Gates, he said that he had the numbers of how many hunters are in this state, not just hound hunters. This is what people don't understand.
yeah,
You think when they get rid of all
exactly.
the hound
All it
hunters, look what they did in California. Oh, look, let's get rid of
all it would take is a
the
hundred
lion hunters.
thousand hunters to donate $100. What's a
Yep.
hundred bucks? You know?
What he was saying, if every hunter in the United States donated like $10, it would come out to $10 million because there's like even
I guarantee there's way more than a million hunters donating a buck or $10 to make it.
oh
There's like a million hunters in like Wisconsin and Minnesota alone.
yeah, and let me tell you,
So if
you spend
everybody
10.
donated $10,
Mhm.
it would be they'd have so much money they'd probably not have to politic for or and and do their asking for money for a couple years.
Oh, I seen a couple comments on the internet that kind of pissed me off a little because, and maybe the guy's a good guy, whatever. I don't know you. I don't care to know you. If you come hunt with me, I'll get to know you. But when you're on the internet, and it's not just one guy, it's a lot of guys that say, "Oh, don't, it's not worth it." All right, then quit hunting. Quit hunting.
How is it not
Because
worth it?
I don't understand why. Oh, because you won't win. All right. Well, 33%
We
of
will
women
win
cheat
if
on men.
everybody gets off their behinds
Yeah.
and donates or does go and donates time.
There's what 50% divorce rate in America. So why get married?
Right. Right.
You can go all day long.
I'm married.
Yeah. I got to be careful because my wife's on right now, and I love her to death. She's the perfect woman in the world.
Hey, I have mine around for a reason.
Exactly. To be mean to you.
Yeah.
Belittle you, beat you.
Well,
the stuff a wife.
Belittling is a constant every day. 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Beatings. If it's if I'm being too uppity, she beats me down.
Yeah.
You gotta put me in my place. Somebody's got
likes to tell me to settle down too. Why are you getting so angry? Why are you getting so angry that guy pulled out in front of you? I said, because he's an idiot. Who drives like that?
Exactly, because he needs an ass whooping.
That's exactly what it is.
He ain't got it. That's why he's doing that.
That's exactly why half the people in this country do what they do. I don't know. I just figured we'd get on and
100%
bash everybody. It's just stupid not to. You spend $10 on Circle K. Like you go to Circle K, you'll drop $10 to $12. There is no $5 no more.
2 freaking Red Bulls, two monsters.
Oh, 2
that's
for $5.
Less than a 12-pack of beer. Less than a 12-pack of beer.
Anybody who smokes, smoking
that's 1 pack of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Anybody who drinks,
1 can of Copenhagen.
Give up a 6-pack.
Yeah.
For $10.
Once a month.
If you want to donate,
do it once
go to
a month.
Save the Hunt, Colorado. Yeah. Yeah. What's $10? What's $10?
$10.
I'll tell you what $10 is. You're going to save a lot of money when you have to sell those dogs. Mm-hmm. Well, it's $100. Just give them $100 for the year, right? Get a little discount.
Yeah. If everybody just
look at that,
manned up, womaned up.
Yeah.
A
pack here in Canada. Is he talking about cigarettes or beer?
I'm gonna say cigarettes. He says a pack because, everybody says a case of beer. A 12-pack, maybe a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know.
Maybe
you know how Canadians are, eh? Cigarettes. I'm just playing double duty. We love all hunters. No, it's silly to me for them anybody to be negative like that. Unless you were out there, and I've been out there, and it's been mentioned. Oh, they didn't. Well, they didn't do it in Arizona because we showed up and we talked our shit to everybody.
You've gone quiet. I can't hear you. No one can hear you. Your mic quit. One minute.
So doing that thing again where it shuts off. I don't know.
Shit. There you are.
Yeah, it hasn't done it for a while, but so now I have to watch it because it'll just mute and it'll say my browser won't handle it. I should have restarted my computer, but I'm uploading a video and couldn't do it. But anyways,
I got you.
Time to learn sign language. Well, you don't want my sign.
Too many middle fingers.
But yeah, it's it's silly for people to just like dog it out like that. You know what I mean? Because that's how they win.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, back to that funny story. We was all eating in Taco Bell after a one of those hound, the game and fish meetings, and in walks the little HACES guy, the Humane Society guy, and we're all sitting there just laughing and joking. I'm not talking like the biologist, everybody, hound guys. He walks in, he goes to the counter, and he kind of stands there, and you can tell he's nervous. And I was really going to go sit with him and just kind of chat with him, just get his idea. And he got real nervous and he walked out. I think because we're all laughing, and I'm sure when you're in that position, you think they're laughing at you, but we weren't. We were talking crap to each other.
Yeah, no. When you're trying to go against the grain, you feel like
Mhm.
you're the center of everybody's attention because
Yeah.
it's at the forefront of your brain.
Yep.
So that's it. He was hyper sensitive, I guess, about the best way to put that.
A lot of those people are like that. Obviously, they're like that,
Yeah.
and they probably weren't raised in it. I always get people are like, well, I don't know how they think that way. Well, they don't know how we think the way we do. It's the whole, especially with
Yeah.
the whole thing, like with Trump, and how do they still vote for Biden? Well, those people are saying, how do they still vote for Trump? It's the same thing. People have their ideas. Why? How come he's driving a Chevy? He should be driving a Dodge. It's all the same.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're thinking, and sometimes what they tell you don't make sense to you. So, but what they tell you, you're like, how do you think that way? How do you think that way in California? How is that guy still a governor? How do they just keep passing laws? How do they say we can't kill mountain lions, and then every year there's still 1,000 mountain lions killed? It don't make sense. So,
Well, not until you stop and look at it and go, oh, well, because this was stopped, this started happening, and then because this started happening, something totally different started occurring,
yeah.
and then you get another outcome worse or similar to what was going on.
It never changes, though. It'll never change. It just keeps going, and the more they lose, the more they'll try. But I tell you what, I think the bigger fight you put up, the better off we'll be. You don't want to make it easy on them, and we did make it easy on them in 2017 year. So,
if we raise a stink, and not just raise a stink, but raise hell, there's a higher probability that the politicians are going to go, oh crap, we don't want none of this.
Well, and that's a lot of the problem too, the good old government.
Yeah, so if I don't want to be like them, meaning the anti-hunters, but if we raise more of an issue than they do, then we are the squeaky wheel. And that's what it seems like it's coming to me. And
well, what do you think would happen when I've been to their meetings. Flagstaff, Arizona. Yep. I showed up in their meetings.
Yeah.
Put my beard in braids, wear some flip-flops, and you're a part of the team. But the stuff they say is just, it's crazy. Crazy. You're like, where is that coming from? Where does that come from?
Yeah.
And they brainwash the next person believing it. And on their tickets they put no lions, no bobcats, no Canada lynx, no jaguars, half of those are already federally protected. So you're just wasting your time.
Not only federally, but in most states they're already protected. Yeah. So they're protected federally and at state level. So it's not like they're literally just adding them for shock and awe.
That's all it is.
So
that's exactly all it is. It's just a picture. It's a picture to put up there.
Yeah. That's all it is. So I I feel like we need to take and start going on the offensive, and printing out a bunch of flyers and going out and standing in front of a freaking college going, hey, save the mountain lions, hey, save the jaguars, save the lynx, save the bobcats, here, read this, here, read this, save the mountain lions, and just add out or hand out 1,000 flyers in a day, right? And then these flyers are going to have
that what they were doing down here. Go ahead.
what's that? So these flyers will have
What they were doing.
number one, one of those QR codes that go to a web page,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll on the web page it lists all the state regulations and say, hey, fight these people because they're morons. They're doing this, this, and this, and they're trying to do this and this and this, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to eliminate, because they're banning the hunting of these animals, they're going to eliminate funding that benefits everything, all across the screen, birds, whether it's songbirds, whether it's game birds, whether it's buzzards, whether it's mammals, crustaceans, reptiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to state that they're trying to eliminate hunting for these 3 or 4 or 5 species, you take and go to the Department of Wildlife or the Department of Fish and Game, whatever it's called for that state, and figure out what projects they're doing with that funding. And you probably don't even have to go and figure it out, because you can state it right across the board that all of these are doing this kind of funding with this, for these types of animals. And not only does it benefit, deer, does it benefit quail, does it benefit, bobcats, squirrels, possums, friggin' flying tree squirrels, the freaking marmots, whatever just go through the list, whatever they're doing for these animals, and habitat restoration is funded by hunters. Then if you could justify that and put it in this QR code, then you're showing that 60% of the population or 80% of the population that doesn't hunt, what the funding of that 10 to 20% of the population does hunt is funding. So, and that's my thought is, maybe we need to do that. Maybe we should just pass on, have someone that builds a website, and then we pass that QR code on to all the pro hunting foundations, right? And say, hey, look, this is what we need to push to the young people of the nation, because obviously we're a electronics, internet driven society now. They won't take the time to read a
social media
paper. Exactly. So they won't take the time to read a piece of paper, but if you spread it on Facebook and give them a link, they're going to go to that and look at those topics and say, oh, hey, hunters are funding all of this? Wow, we need to support hunters. These people that are against hunting don't understand what's going on. So that's my thought. I mean, maybe I'm stupid, but I probably am.
we got dogs. Like to spend that money on dogs. Well,
For sure.
getting everybody together is the hard part. Everybody hates each other. Dogs, deer guys, dog guys, elk hunters, bird hunters. I mean, we were down south and the bird and deer hunters were all over the place. It made it tough. You know what I mean? They didn't like us running through. I busted I come over a ridge and busted out a deer hunter. I didn't know there was a pond down there. And I obviously didn't know. I wasn't on a road. I was cutting ridges on my mule. He screams up there, hey, there's hunters down here. I said, hey, there's hunters up here. Like, It ain't private property, but I went
What are you
around,
talking
up
about?
and around, and I actually, we actually bumped into the guy. He walked out. His dad was still in the stand. He walked out, and I rode up to him and said, "Hey, I didn't even know that was down there. I didn't mean to mess up your hunt." He said, "No, that's fine." He goes, "I don't mind you busting up my hunt. It's them damn bird hunters." So, you know, deer hunters don't only hate
They just
us hound hunters, bird hunters too. But the bird hunters are running around shooting, so I understand. But when
yeah,
you're hunting
them bird
public
hunters are
property, mhm, and those are all hoity-toity
yeah.
guys. Those
I'm
bird
actually
hunters are hoity-toity guys.
no, you nailed it. I'm out here with my brother. He's a bird
Hmm.
hunter. He's out here hunting them chuckers, and
Yep.
he's as much as I love my brother, he's hoity-toity type.
Yeah.
So I'm out here in a,
his dog.
a
His dog smells like
1989 Ford
cologne.
Ranger. His dog sleeps in a insulated kennel inside of his tent with a heater. So,
That
yeah, my
does
dogs are
his
sleeping
does
in the
his truck
truck with the.
does this does this truck have a camper on it?
No, no, he's got horses, and he ended up
Oh,
bringing a trailer this week because he hauled stuff
gotcha.
to his cabin, and then he didn't want to leave his trailer at his cabin. So, but no,
Every
he doesn't
every
have
dog hunter I
a
seen,
camper on his truck.
every dog hunter I seen had a camper on their truck down there. Every one of them, matching camper.
That's well, I don't know about out there, but in California, so this is a little tidbit for anybody that might be in California. If you put a camper shell in your truck and then you take it over to like CHP, California Highway Patrol, or the DMV, they can do an inspection on your truck, and they see that there's a camper permanently attached to the bed of your truck goes from a commercial vehicle to a passenger vehicle, and it drops the registration from whatever $1,000 it is down to 200 or 300 bucks a year.
So does that mean you could carry someone in the back without a seatbelt,
I don't know about
or do you have to have a
that. I think
seatbelt?
everybody has to. Yeah, I think everybody. Wow, that's way too bright. Sorry. I think everybody has to have a seatbelt.
You're not dark yet.
Does that red work
You're
for
not
you?
dark yet. It might look
Oh
dark in
no.
your phone, but you're not dark yet. I'll let you
Okay.
know when you're too dark. Can't
All
see
right.
you.
Yeah, it looks dark over here. All right.
Well, what are you doing? What are you doing down there?
So I came out here, lion hunting. I came to that same place I talked to you about, I don't know, 2, 3 months ago, up
Yep.
by a military silo, missile silo. Just drove, probably 6 or 8 miles. I was gonna ride horses. I hauled a horse down here, my little Ford Ranger. It struggled like a son of a gun, but if anybody ever wonders, you can haul a single horse and a two horse, loaded down with all your gear, about 100 miles at the minimum. And
Hey, you know what I
now
found?
I get here.
I found two single haul horse trailers. I've been looking for a
I
single
like
haul
single
horse
haul.
trailer.
I like single hauls, but the problem with single haul is you can't load your gear in the second side. That's my problem.
Well, if you get one of those, you got to put a rack on top, and then maybe get one that opens up
Yeah,
like those
I
old
do need to do
cars do. They got the little space shuttle that you could. Yep.
that. Yeah, on top.
Yep. Yep. But it's what you
Yeah.
need. A little single haul.
Um, they would probably haul pretty good in this Ranger. Um,
Yeah.
but so I get down here, and then there's a storm hitting today. It hit kind of this morning. We've had it started off about 10, 15 mile an hour winds this morning. Now it's 30 mile an hour winds with gusts of 50. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow. And then Saturday it's supposed to be okay. So we'll see what happens Saturday. My brother and I will probably sit in the tent and stay drunk all day, and then
Wait for that
probably
snow. Wait for that cheater dust.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yep.
I mean, I didn't even check the weather. I didn't know it was going to do all this. He's over here trucker hunting, and it's like, his he's trying to train one of those Drothcar. I don't know how you pronounce that. German. It's a wire hair pointer, and they call it something special when it meets certain specifications. Um,
Call the bird dog.
yeah, exactly. So, but she's a pretty cool dog. She is, and she's
Yeah.
super smart. But they're a niche within a niche. Um, it's like being a dry ground hunter within a hound hunter. But they're she's only 9 months old, and she's already finding and pointing. And he's not this trip, but a trip before when she was closer to 6 months old. She was already finding and pointing chucker for him. And out here, I don't know if you guys have chucker down there, but up here it's pretty tough. These chucker go up. I'm at pushing 7,500 foot, and these chucker are up this high over here.
Yeah. I think we got a few here and there. I don't ever hunt them. I see them every once in a while. Up high.
Yeah, same
Oh,
here.
yep. I was listening to Brett just did a podcast on powered by Joy with that Josh McCandless or
Mm-hmm.
McCann, I don't know his last name, Caleb,
Josh McKaylee.
and something like that. That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good podcast talking about lonely hunting, basically a lion. Being a lion hunter, how you're 90% of the time alone. It's not like those raccoon hunters back east or bear hunters. Anywhere you have a bunch of people. Your dry ground lion hunter guys
Yep.
are lonely, desolate people. I mean, how many
Yeah,
how many
but
times
you
have
know
you
what?
been out? No.
I have no clue. It's a lot, and this is probably the second maybe fourth time in a full 12 months that I've had somebody with me, other than my kids that I took with me.
My daughter, Cody, she says, I think I like bear hunting better. And I said, why? Could you drive around all day? Like, she likes to rig and run. Me, I like to get out there and ride.
Mm-hmm.
All I do.
Yeah, and
Try to
I'd be
trail
riding right
something.
now, but it's like it's blowing so hard it's rocking my truck back and forth. And I if I had checked the weather, I wouldn't have brought a horse this week. So it's just it's supposed to it was supposed to be raining right now per
I
one
don't.
weather app, but then I look at NOAA and it says no weather today until about 10 o'clock, and then some snow until
Yeah.
like 10 o'clock tomorrow, 10 to 10, and then but if it's gonna be snowing all night, I'm not even go hunting tomorrow. Be covered up by morning. So
Just depends on what it's supposed to get a storm here too. Rain down here in Phoenix, and then it's supposed to snow up north Friday and Saturday, and then be kind of sunny for a couple of days, and then it's supposed to snow again like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we've already got a couple units that are
yeah,
close to shutting down. So I'm sure they'll shut down.
yeah. I
People
drive a
love to
long
kill
ways to
them
work,
lions.
so I don't even know it. I looked at the weather app. It says light snow next on the day that I had to work next week. So we'll see what happens. But light snow the day that I'm supposed to head to work, but heavy snow the day before, and heavy snow the day that I'm supposed to be at work. Well, maybe I can make it to work, maybe not. I don't know. But it's supposed to start snowing over the pass, um, like Sunday, and I head in Tuesday afternoon usually, or Wednesday morning, depending on what the weather is.
think our internet's messing up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Maybe hear me? There we go. Internet problems lately all over the place. I'm on a job site that has no phone
Yeah.
service, no nothing. I have to drive 2 miles to get
Yeah.
service and check my email.
That's about what I had to do. A mile and a half to get up here.
And that's the best service you got right there.
Yeah, I got 2 bars. Literally on top of a mountain by a missile silo, military missile
Nice.
silo.
Well, they need their internet. They need their phone service.
Right.
So what do you got? How long you out hunting this time?
I don't have to go to work till Wednesday next week, so we'll see what the weather says. We'll probably stay in camp here tomorrow, next day, and then we're about an hour from a town. So if we need to go for a food run, alcohol run, we can go do that, and then as however long we want to stay. For my brother, Chucker season ends Sunday evening, and then it just depends on whatever, whether we want to hang out or not. I don't get to see my brother much, so.
However long you could put up with him then?
More like how long you put up with me. I'm the abrasive one. He's such a nice guy.
Facebook. I got an anecdote of a houndsman in Facebook. If you just look up anecdote of a houndsman, or Jeremiah, sorry. Well, I've seen plenty of snow tracks. I just don't want to make tracks in the snow. I feel like I'd rather run around looking for tracks than digging myself out of tracks. I hunt snow. I just don't go out of my way.
Yeah. So I was trying to dry ground today, right? So then I was trying to head to a spot that I had found a couple weeks ago, probably a month and a half to 2 months ago. And I was going to go up there and check it out, see if anything came through. I came down this way. I didn't even know there was snow here. That's why we came down here, because I didn't know there was anything. It's been 2 weeks since it snowed heavy, but there's drifts in the shadows. Excuse me. And there's a couple spots that I started to get sideways to the point where I stopped and had to back up. And then one spot that I literally hopped out and shoveled snow for about 5 minutes to be able to get straight again and get out of that corner. But one spot wasn't even bad. It was just the road had washed out, and I had to go up on the side of a hill to get around a tree that was next to a wash. And maybe I didn't go fast enough, probably is what happened. And I slid off and smashed into that tree, smashed into the quarter panel of the truck and of the bed. Then I had to hop out, grab the chainsaw, cut a bunch of limbs off so I didn't smash up the back window of the cab or smash in the side of the dog box. And I was able to finally get out, but the quarter panel between the cab and the driver rear tires smashed all the way to the frame.
I had a 2015 Tundra, and we was out. Man, it wasn't much snow, but the mud under it was slick, and I slid in and hit a boulder.
Pretty much
I locked on a boulder. We had to winch out of it, and it was like an inch of mud, but it was clay.
Yep.
And then I was in my 80 Toyota, and I went up to go up a hill, and I said, "Oh, I'd make it up a hill," and I backed down. I said, "I can make it." I went again, a little further. Didn't make it. Back down. I said, "I'm going to make it." Went again, went up, slid off. I had to call someone to come get me out. So, now you're dark. Now we don't see nothing.
How's this?
Might be a good one. There you go.
Is that too bright?
Yep.
Yeah.
No. If you just point it up, it's good.
There. Yeah, it's
Like
probably
you're in
too
the
bright.
like you're you can see enough of you.
How's that set?
Good
Enough?
enough.
Let me see if I. Oh shit! Too much. Did I look creepy enough there?
There you go. So
Yeah. So I drove off, and the freaking Onyx and Garmin Express showed it as a good road. And so I get out there and I start driving down. It's a great road, except for it's rocky. And then get about
yeah.
quarter mile down it, and then it just turns and drops down into the canyon. So, and I got like another 100 feet, 200 feet, and then there was a fucking tree right in the way. So
Whack.
yeah, I cut those branches off though, and now I'm gonna burn them as firewood for the night.
That's what it gets. That's what it gets for slowing you down.
Son of a gun.
What What do you think the life of a lion houndsman? Sum it up. How would you sum it up? Is it different than like
Yeah,
a high
I
country
I
snow?
can't say here in Nevada, I freaking love it. Right? If I didn't have to work, I would live horseback, sleeping in a bedroll with a dang tarp over me 90% of the year until it got so deep that I had to keep moving out of the snow. That's what I would do. But because I got a family, I can't do that. Um, but yeah, that, if you wanted to be a nomadic, just you could probably hunt a couple deer a year, find you a spot to stow your jarred up deer meat, maybe a bear, whatever, and just go back and hit your cash and lion hunt all year. It would be that easy.
Here's a question for you. Will the lions be more active after bad weather? I imagine they will be.
So, saying bad weather, I'm assuming storming, snow, cold weather is, bad weather is what we have here. Yeah, they kind of hole up. The deer stop moving. The lions will move for that first couple hours trying to catch on to a deer. But once the snow gets too deep, those lions hole up too. And then it's not until about the weather starts to break that you got to wait for those deer to start moving. And then those lions will go out and they don't move very far once that snow gets about a foot and a half deep. Um, they'll move a mile to 3 miles basically in a day trying to hunt for those deer herds, and then they'll hole up. Like if you get a good storm and it starts snowing hard, they'll be in the middle of a hunt and they'll just hole up in a rock pile. I found that a couple times, and they'll if it clears up and they find a fresh deer track, they'll literally track those deer down. Um, they'll hit a track and follow it straight down the middle of the track until they get to where it starts smelling too fresh, and then they'll start circling out to the sides. They'll go to the downwind side because the lions got a pretty decent nose. They're not like a dog, but they got a decent enough nose that they can get to the downwind side, figure out where those deer are, and try to get out in front of them and ambush them as they come through. And I I'd much rather wait a day after the snow fell than hunt the morning of the snowfall. But if you've got the money to pay for the fuel and the time to do it, and you're just doing it recreationally, if you can hop into a rig and just go buzzing through the snow, then you can cover some ground and find a super smoking hot fresh track that first morning.
Yeah. I've seen where they killed during a storm. We had a lion. It was kind of a freak storm, and it killed while it was storming a spike elk.
Really?
We found it the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, we went out the next morning and looked for tracks. We was actually trying to rig bear and see if our dogs were rigging everything else, and it was like May. It was a late snow, freak snow, maybe April or May. And
yeah,
sure as heck, it killed that night during the storm. So I think they're opportunistic. If that's the right word.
they're absolutely opportunistic.
I think they'll just hunker down. They'll hunker down, I'm sure, during the storm. But, of course, if everything's hunkered down, and then once it quits, everything's going to get hungry, just like he is or she, and going to get up and go
for sure.
Start hunting.
Yeah. I your area doesn't get a whole lot of snow, and so your lions may act a little bit different than ours up here, but ours are I think used to getting that snow certain times of year. If it's a freak snowstorm, early in the year, yeah, they'll probably hunt through it.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be a big snowstorm and they, I don't know how animals react to the barometric pressure or anything, but if they know it's going to be a long spell, I'll go hunt. If it's my day off, I'm going to hunt, whether it's prime conditions or not. So I see less tracks towards the end of a storm, obviously, right? Because it's so fresh, there's not a whole lot of animals moving yet. Then I'll find at, like, say 10, 12 hours after the storm. But if I go hunt 24 hours after the storm, there's rabbit tracks. I know exactly where, the coyotes like to hunt. I know where the deer like to feed, just because you've given it enough time for all those animals to get up and get moving and start feeding and do their normal routine in that situation. So, it's just, if you got the time, give them 24 hours after a storm. But if you're fighting hunters or you're in an area that usually will tag out in the first three hours after daylight, I mean, you don't have any choice. You better be out there hunting. But if you're in an area like, say Nevada, where it's year round and you get all kinds of storms in the winter, and give it that 24 hours, go out there and drive those roads after that, and you're going to see where there's a ton more game, right? You're going to see where all the birds are. You're going to see where the rabbits are. You're going to see where the deer are, coyotes. You'll see where the coyotes like to bed, because if you time it right, you'll see, all right, so they came down this way. Obviously, they were bedding up there on the side of the hill. And they came down and they went down the road at night, because they're not going to be going down the hill in the mornings. So it's just common sense in a lot of it, and it takes, I don't know how to put it, not understanding it. It takes a little bit of thought to process it and figure it out to understand it, but it's not that hard.
Yeah. When Brett talks to those old timers or talks about those old timers, I think one of the stories that sticks out too is Mike Roots, where, he said he was chasing a lion, his dogs were, and his dogs chase lion, not him. He'll sit down and make a cup of coffee, build a fire. And he had a client like, hey, shouldn't we be? No, we got time, because he knows his dogs, for one, and then there's that other story with, I think it was Dale Lee, where there's a guy hunting and he said he's going one way and Dale said, go this way. And he went another way and came back and said, man, he goes, well, because it went up that way. And sure as heck, he went up line went up that way. And the guy, I don't remember who
Yeah.
the guy is, but he kind of asked Dale Lee, "How do you know that?" And he says, "Because I'm a lion hunter." Brett
Yeah,
can tell
I
the
mean,
story.
you hunt lions enough, you get I wouldn't say a full understanding, but a kind of a general understanding um,
Mm-hmm.
of how lions like to move. And I was just talking to Jared yesterday, and he was like telling me not to go where I'm at right now because
Yeah,
of where,
because he's
well,
hogging up the
not
cats.
because of what the lions do. What's that?
It's because he wants to hog all the cats up when he comes back.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. When he moves back, no, he was telling me, look, based off of what the game is doing, that's a bad spot to go. And he's right. I haven't seen a single lion track today, but
Yeah,
granted, it's been the snow here's what was here or what is here is like a week and a half, 2 week old snow, and I wasn't even planning on hunting that, but it's been freezing cold every night, so there's no tracks left, and there's very minimal game sign. You know, meaning I've seen a few deer tracks, but overall, I don't think it's enough to hold a lion. So I just came down to help my brother out chucker hunt, and I was going to lion hunt on the side, and um, now I'm just doing it for the chucker hunting because obviously there's probably no lions
yeah.
around. All the game's out of here, just a few deer left. But
You know, uh, where Jared was hunting down south. I mean, he sent me an onyx. It looked like Christmas tree. With tracks and
mm-hmm,
where he's caught lions and seen lions. Or we get down there and they're like moved out of that area. You know,
mm-hmm,
so I think I found three tracks. One the first day, and I drove a lot of roads. The border patrol drags that road. Oh, there's Nicholas. Let's throw Nicholas in here real quick. The border patrol
hi
drags that
Nick, how you
road.
doing, buddy?
Whoa, doing pretty good. How's it going, guys?
Your hair's
Good,
growing,
good.
but you shaved.
I know. I apologize for how white I am. Sorry if I'm blinding you guys.
Got to turn that light down.
We don't get
So,
a lot
but
of sun out here.
the border patrol drug those roads down there, and
Yeah,
so it's, and we still didn't catch a track. And then he caught a track. Man, I felt worthless down there. I was down there 7 days and I did 3 big circles on the mule, couldn't catch a track or lion.
yeah.
I worked one. Well, the second day I walked and I worked one. Man, it hit those north slopes where it was moist, and just blow up. And then it hit the south slopes where it was dry and they just slow down. And it was constant up and
That's
down. I just kept going. My daughter, I
that's
told her,
that's the
I'm going to
same
circle
way it
east and
is
come
here.
back. Hmm.
Yeah,
And she'd get on the radio and say, man, where are you going? Like, I'm trying to go east, but the dogs keep working north, you know? So I would work in north. I think Jared was working one south. I mean, that line they caught down there was just around that area. I think I caught its track the
yeah,
day before. Jared caught his track, ran it, and then they broke down. I went and got him next day. Jared, that guy can walk. He wore them guys out. And he said, I'm
yeah.
going to go to
No,
that wash.
they call. I've talked to other people around here before I started to talk to him, and they call him the Billy Goat. So
Oh, he 100 miles an hour. The guy walked. I
yeah,
picked him up on the other side of a range the one day. He calls like, hey, man, can you pick me up here? And I'm like, where? He tells me, I'm like, damn. So I
you
picked him
did
up
that.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And he
he's
drugged
telling me
those guys
stories
with
about
him.
like he's telling me stories about how he had to be hunting on his own, and he'd be, 12 miles later, he come out, and it's not 12 miles, it's 12 miles linearly, not 12 miles from where he started. So it's he may have went 18 miles, but 12 miles
Oh,
linearly or as the crow flies back to the truck, and he's like, shit, if I hike down to the road, that means it's like another 16 miles over. So he'd call people and have them come pick him up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to. He just wouldn't get back till midnight. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, he made me feel pretty worthless, and I was walking and I was riding mules. You know, and we just, man, last day, it was a 3-day, you know, I caught a track, and it was kind of crazy because it was by Javelina. He caught a track the next day. And then the third day, man, he kept saying, I'm going to go to that wash. I was skeptical. I'm like, that lion's out of there probably. Like it probably went up.
Yeah.
We might, I don't know. He was like not giving up on catching that lion over there. And he did. He went over there, went up that wash, found a javelina where it drug a javelina across the wash, and then had an arrow in it. So I don't know if that javelina was just wandering around wounded, or it, you know, or it killed it, or it was dead and it was just eating on it, because it was a young cat, you know. And man, I guess he had that thing caught within 200 yards of that. So you know, they're all he's watching those, watching those dogs work, like pills, and he's like, yeah, it's something, you know. And everybody's like, you know, you're like, I hope it is. And the next thing you know, boom, done, 200 yards in a tree.
I mean, I don't know anybody that's treed one at 200 yards. His dogs must have just been hot on that trail.
I think they jumped it off that kill. I think they walked up that wash.
You think they were on the kill? Yeah.
I think that lion was eating on that kill and was hanging out there. I think they walked up because they went further than what they did the day before. So that little lion, he didn't leave that kill. He's young. He wanted that, you know. And they tracked him up that wash the day before and then pulled off. For some reason, I started a track. I went about half a mile, and man, my dogs were just moving. I'm like, man, we're not going to catch this thing before Tuesday, you know, of next week. So I pulled off and like, we got to go up and maybe catch something hotter. They already work in that area up there. And next day he caught that track. He said he could only work it like same thing, quarter mile, you know, and it's in a wash, and it just hard to work in the wash, you know, unless it comes in and out or something. I don't know. And then the next day he knew it was there. He knew it was there, you know. I was like, well, go for it. And he did. He went up there and walked up that wash again and ended up jumping that kill. And I think that lion came back when he was eating that kill. That's why we kept catching tracks in there.
Yeah. I think one of the best thing Eric, I'm looking at, so one of the best things that
Jared
has told me is once you've started a fresh track and your dogs are able to work it, don't leave it looking for a fresher track. Try to figure out the direction it's going.
Yep.
Especially if it's Tom, right? Because the Toms will line out. The females, they may go 100 yards and then turn. But those Toms, they'll typically follow the drainage or the ridge going up. So even if the dogs are pecking, right? You're only moving, you know, a couple 100 yards an hour. That thing may be bedded up there in a quarter mile. So find, you know, whatever it is that you have to tell yourself, find a reason to stay working that track and get out there. Just keep moving it. If you got a couple dogs that aren't as cold nosed and you got the cold nosed dogs that are working it, take those warmer nosed dogs and maybe stay on that downwind side and just parallel.
Yep.
Right? Because eventually you're, you know, whether it's 1 mile or 5 miles or 15 miles, you're gonna run into that sucker eventually. So keep working it. Keep driving it. until it's too hot to work. As
Well,
in,
it was
you're going to overheat dogs.
well, it was late in the day. I think we both found it late in the day, so we had
That's the
limited
big difference.
time.
Yeah, that too.
One of them things you're like,
Yep.
well, we'll pick it up in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's too late in the day and the track's burned off, yeah, there's nothing you can do.
What's
But
that?
if it's if it's too late in the day and it's starting to get to the point where the sun's hitting it, it's burning off, and there's nothing you can do, maybe kind of guesstimate the direction it goes and figure out, go see if you can find it on a north facing slope, I guess. But if it's just too hot or it's too late in the day and it's just burned off, then there's nothing you can do.
Yep. That's what we did. We kept in that area. We knew it was there. We had tracks coming in and out of it, so we knew something was there.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas,
Yeah.
What's
you've
up?
been hiding out. You've been hiding out.
I've been here and there. Not necessarily hiding out.
You've been in a closet looking for or doing your book, your audio book.
Yeah. Yep. That's really where I would have. That's why I kind of disappeared. I had to get the audiobook finished, which I finally did. So now it's on Audible, which is, the Amazon marketplace for audiobooks. They give you a free trial, and you can download a free book. So you can make that my book if you want. You can download that sucker. But yeah. Cat Dog. Oh yeah, I got a copy of it right here. So yeah, I wrote this book 2 years ago. I published it about a year ago, and it's all about learning how to hunt bobcats with dogs, which it turns out is very challenging.
It is definitely.
Yeah. A lot of people, it's kind of common for people to wait till they've hunted for a long time, 20, 30, 40 years before they try to write a book. I figured I'll just write it after my first season. So it's I kind of think of it as like a living memoir. And yeah, I've been working on another book. It's not going to be exactly the same as this one, which is really just kind of step by step telling the whole story of everything that led up to catching my first bobcat with my own pack of dogs. So the next one is going to be a bit different than that. And that's all I can say about it for now.
You know what I liked about this book is most people wait until they're old to write a book. They wait to write a book. What I liked is you wrote it fresh out of starting out. And I don't think there's anybody that's done that at all. And I think that's great for beginner hunters to say, because you went through the whole challenges. You went through all that, but I'm going to tell you this real quick. What really surprised me about this book is that you're 6'1".
What do you mean? 6'1"?
I don't know. I thought
I'm tall and lanky,
said, right?
bro.
Well, hey, I asked my whole family. I said, "How tall do you think Niklas is?" And they all said, "I don't know, 5'8", 5'9".
What the hell? Oh my God! I'm insulted.
I said that fool is 6'1", trying to sleep in the front of a truck.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's cramped, but you do what you got to do.
Your first dog
truck. I'm tall, lanky, gangly dude. Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not that tall, but I dislike being as tall as I am. I'm on the shorter side.
Yep.
Short and stocky.
Hang on.
But I would definitely not.
That has its advantages.
Isn't that most lion hunters?
Shoot,
I get asked. I get asked for help at the grocery store.
How tall are you? Shoot, I'm only 5.5 foot, but you know, I'm on the stockier side. I know 6-foot guys that weigh as much as I do.
Yeah.
I'm pushing 170.
So that was your key takeaway from the book. Well, I'm glad. I'm impressed.
Uh-oh.
Well, oh yeah, because the part you're talking about, because I was talking about the hunting trucks I've had so far, which I finally have a proper hunting truck. But I started out with a 2-wheel drive Ford F-150 with a long bed,
Not a good choice.
and that thing, no, not a good choice at all. But I could sleep in the bed of it very easily. And then I got an all-wheel drive Chevy Astrovan that I built a dog box in the back of with a bed on top. So like that thing was actually
that's my
cool.
favorite one. That's my favorite one right there.
I enjoyed that thing a lot, but it had a lot of mechanical problems. I just couldn't do it. And also,
oh no,
dogs getting skunked riding inside with you is not ideal.
Oh.
So I used to back when I hog hunted, I hunted out of a Suzuki Samurai with a tin top. So it's basically
Awesome.
a tiny Jeep, tiny Jeep.
Yep.
And I didn't have dog box. I pulled out the back seat and I would smack them as they try to lick me in the ear, right?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times, you know, being 19, 20, having dogs, and they not knowing how to train a dog and get skunked. It's miserable. Straight miserable.
Samurais are pretty cool. I know the geo trackers, like Jason Doobie, he hunts out of a geo tracker. And I've been listening while you guys started, and I heard you talking about Josh Michaelis. He also is a fan of the geo tracker. Yeah.
So the geo tracker has a 1.6 liter
out.
fuel injected engine, and the Samurai has a 1.3 liter carbureted engine. So it's a common upgrade to get an adapter kit to adapt the 1.6 liter to the Suzuki Samurai. And
Gotcha.
people that have it are like, yeah, no, it's great. We get like 35 miles a gallon. It'll do 65 down, 75 down the highway. It's fantastic, you know. But the Samurai only weighs like 17 or 1,800 pounds with the person or two people in it. So
I think you could load that up on a flatbed if you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. Easy. Yeah, no, literally, there's guys that'll run a flatbed pickup, and they'll load those Samurais into the bed of the pickup.
No way.
Yeah.
I ended up switching to basically the closest thing in a pickup form, which would be the Nissan hardbody. So I got a single cab Nissan 4-wheel drive. That thing, I mean, it goes pretty much anywhere. I love that thing.
Good. Heck yeah, nothing wrong with that. As long as it works for what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Yes, sir. Yep. And I spent the last
I hunted out of it
for a few months now, but I was just gonna say I built a pretty cool dog box for it. So yeah, I'm really happy with my my setup. Finally got it all dialed in.
I hunted out of an 87 Suburban. 87 Suburban, and I had built dog boxes that would fit in my Suburban, but also fit on my flatbed of I have a first gen Cummins. So it was kind of but, and my dogs didn't piss in that truck forever. Not ever. It took one dumbass dog to piss in that truck, that Suburban. And actually it was a female, my buddy's female, lifted her leg. I had my seats folded down because I used to just throw them in the back. She pissed on my seat. And ever since then, those males would run in, and I had to I put all the males in a box and that female. But it worked. It don't matter what you got as long as it works, you know. So now, and then I have the traditional 1980 Toyota. I actually put a flatbed on it, built a flatbed finally, and that's one of my favorite little hunt trucks. But the bad thing about that is me, my cousin, and his friend, those guys are like over 6 foot. You know, I'm 6 foot towing. And you put 3 guys like that in front of a 80 Toyota. That's why I don't drive a Tacoma. That's why I have a Tundra.
It struggles.
I
Yeah.
like the room.
Well,
I
and
like the room.
the stick shift is a little
I don't like
awkward
the
with your
payment,
friend right next to you.
but I like the room.
For sure. Yeah, I've
Yep.
always been upset
Oh yeah,
that
he
Ford
gets.
didn't have a
I go to
four-door
fourth real
Ford Ranger here
fast.
in these
Make him
states.
scoot over. Yeah.
So
I've seen all the TikToks
I'm
on
a Ford guy.
Ford.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm a Ford guy, but I literally almost bought a Nissan, the 4-door Nissan, and then a four-door S10, and then put a bunch of Ford, engine, transmission, axles underneath it, because I know how to work on that stuff, and it's not
That's
stupid
complicated.
like the Chevy or Nissan is. So to
Yeah.
be able to have the 4-door, so it's frustrating. And then now they've got that. Well, I say now, but a while ago they came out with that 4-door Explorer Sport, which is the 4-door pickup, but it's like the predecessor, or the is it predecessor? Not predecessor. It replaced the Ford Ranger for a minute. The Explorer Sport. I almost bought one of those and
Yeah.
straight axled it to make it a off-road capable vehicle.
Seems complicated.
And way too much, and that's why I never did it.
Oh, really? Gotcha.
As long as it gets you point A to point B most of the time, you're good to go.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, still there? Your mic still working?
Yeah, I'm still
I
here.
think so. You're glitching out. Chris is on the fritz.
His mic stopped him again. Stopped on him. So, what? Tell us about what you've learned
It
with
did.
the bobcat hunting.
Oh, I've learned the value of having a broke dog to train young dogs. That's for sure.
For sure.
So I had my mentor gave me an old dog named Whiskey, and she was an incredible cat dog. So she really helped me. That's kind of what the whole book's about. It's kind of about learning from Whiskey. And
Yep.
yeah, I got one solid season in with her, and yeah, she kind of she's like how I learned how to bobcat hunt really. But she died like shortly after that first season. So last year I was hunting just with my younger dogs who are not they're not experienced. They've been on a dozen or so cats before, but still like doing it on their own is just a real challenge. So last
Yeah.
season was really tough for me. I think I only caught like 2 cats the whole season.
Mm.
But a week and a half ago, I actually got a new pup trainer. So
Oh, good.
my mentor's best friend and like main hunting partner, he gave me a 10-year-old blue tick who has been on hundreds of bobcats. So yeah,
Awesome.
we actually caught a cat on Sunday with him and the rest of the
Congrats.
dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've
we're back on the
I've
board.
dabbled. I've dabbled with the bobcats this year. I mean, I've ran 1 or 2 in the past, but this year, I think, well, because of last year we had a crazy amount of snow here, like a lot of the West Coast did, right? So trappers
Yeah.
weren't able to get around, and
Mm,
this year there's a lot of bobcats. Like, and
nice.
I've went one place. I guess it's been about 3 weeks ago. I think last time I was on with Chris, day before that, I found 5 or 6 bobcat tracks in as many miles, and I
Wow.
ran the 2 that I thought were toms. Right, totally got humbled. Dogs that would tree a lion just got smoked by bobcat.
Where do you live, Rowdy?
North Central Nevada.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and these, I don't know how many other guys hunt bobcats here, right? I don't socialize. I'm kind of a hermit here. I started doing this just because, it's something to do. But in person, I'm not real social. So I don't know. Just because I guess in general, I don't really like people, except for hunters. So I don't go out and try to make friends, and I don't, you know, just because I see someone with the dog box, I don't go up and introduce myself or anything. But so I don't know. There's probably half dozen, 8 or 10 or people here in the area that hound hunt, but I don't know many of them. I've met one of them out on the side of the mountain, and or I take the back, 2 of them, and that's it. I'm learning on my own, other than what Jared's taught me in the last 2 3 years, 2 years, and without a pup trainer, there's so much information you can learn from one of those pup training hounds that you'll never figure out, because that dog already knows it, right? And if unless you're out there walking with those dogs and walking them through those mistakes, those losses, those dogs will never figure it out. They're just going to stand on their head or come back to you. And having those pup
Yeah, that's the
trainers
other thing.
is
Out here,
fantastic.
I totally agree. Out here, we have. I mean, people hunt. So I mostly hunt like the coastal range here. There are people who hunt the Cascade Mountains, and there's a lot more consistent snow up there. But I just I'm not good at driving around, and I'm not good at getting myself unstuck really. And I haven't met anyone who wants to go do that with me. So I mostly just stay on the west side. So we don't have very consistent snow to get dogs started, walking down tracks and stuff.
Yep.
I do that every chance I
Mm.
get because I find it I've learned more about how bobcats use the landscape by following their tracks,
Yep.
just myself, than anything. I don't understand why people get it. I know it's fun to joke around and make fun of people. I do that constantly. About getting down on people for hunting the snow, or thinking it's some inferior form of hunting. That's complete BS to me. Like, and I feel like you can learn so much just by walking tracks. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I wish I wish I had better access to good, consistently good snow. But
Mm-hmm.
but
And
yeah, I
that's
would
Nicholas.
imagine that.
And that's Nicholas
Go
tonight,
ahead.
guys. Thanks, Nicholas, for being here. Goodbye.
So in north central Nevada, is that like desert or is that forested?
A high desert. I don't get into
High desert. Okay.
forest until I go till like Carson City, Reno area. Or you can go down kind of like towards well, no, that's about it. If you go down towards like uh Topaz Lake, it's still from south of there. It turns into pinyon pines.
Okay. Not
So
like brushy, because
there's
that's
I've
my
met
understanding is the only reason why people can catch numbers of cats out here is because it's soaking wet and brushy. Like a cat moving through the underbrush is going to
Dense.
leave by a lot more scent than walking across a dry sand flat.
Yeah, so we got a lot of alkali soil, and it's
Hmm.
fairly open. So
Yeah.
there's minimal trees. The trees are typically on the north facing slopes, northeast facing slopes, or the east side of the range. Um, and then in some areas, if you're getting more towards like California, you'll get a lot more precipitation. So the southeast, southwest facing slopes can sustain the trees. But it typically, I've been finding that the bobcats like to hang towards wherever the water starts to pool up, and the willows will grow. But then again,
Okay.
that's where also the foxes like to hang out. So
Hmm.
if your dogs aren't trash broke, they're gonna start trailing it the first fox that comes along, or God forbid, dang first coyote. And those coyotes will really hunt where the bobcats and the lions like to hang, because they'll raid a kill really quick.
Yeah, coyotes are my main nemesis. Like, I have a terror. I've had pretty good luck breaking them off a deer and elk, but man, coyotes are just something else, man. They like chasing.
Everybody, even Brett says his dogs will cold trail a coyote, and it's annoying. It does get annoying.
Yeah.
I'm about let's see, it's 23.
You know those dogs.
I'm 5 years in, and I'm finally getting to the point of where my dogs aren't trying to trail every fresh coyote track, right? So I've got 4-year-old dogs. Because I started with some trash dogs, hog dogs from California, and they were just as hot nose as hot nose could be. And then the next year, I had some young hound pups that I started. So I'm 4 years in on those hound pups without having a good mentor for me, take me along and show me how it's done. And I'm now just getting dogs that are starting to get trash broke. But that 100%, if I would recommend to anybody how to start a pack, it'd be get you a 2-3-month-old pup in the spring, 2-3-month-old in like March, April, and then have it around the house all summer with and buy a pup trainer, right? And have it get married up to that pup trainer all summer. And then in the fall comes along, you walk with them and take that pup trainer and walk it up every track. And that whenever that pup wants to go trashing on something, you call it back or tone it back and put it right back on that track. So that would be the quickest and easiest way right there. And then after that first season, you've got two okay going, or you got a good pup trainer and you got an okay going dog. And the next season, maybe run that pup again if that pup trainer is still in good enough shape, or get another pup that's going to be about 9 months to a year old when you start that next season, to throw in with that dog that's got a year under its belt or a season under its belt. And I think that would be the fastest way to start a litter, or start a pack, I'm sorry, of anything, or for any animal. Because if you're just trying to start a pup without
much
a pup
easier
trainer,
with a pup trainer.
Mess. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I've, after all my research and dealing with dogs and stuff,
learn a lot.
I like my dogs
you
to be
sure
9
learn
months
a lot.
to a year old when I start them.
Wait till they're
9 months to a year old when I start them on the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I go into a winter, I want to be 9 months at the youngest.
Yeah, I like having them. I like having my own litter now. I've gotten that far because then 4 weeks old, you can start playing with them. And then I let my litters run kind of feral around the yard. And I mean, I've done a couple videos where I throw hamburger out, where they got manners. It don't matter how good your dog is if you have no manners. Like, oh my, it's tough without manners. So I do try to teach them, I do the whole put them on a rope and tone them back to me. Until I let them run loose till they're like 3 or 4 months, as long as I can.
That'd be great.
Until they start, and it happens all the time. They call me and say, "Hey, you got hound puppies? They're in the road." And the road is like quarter mile away. So I know they're starting to leave the yard. And then I'll chain break them. That's when I chain break them. But even then, I'll walk out my front door and throw a hamburger out in the yard, all over, just and let them work their nose. And you can let them run feral.
That's a great idea.
Is the best thing you can. And I had a houndsman tell me, let them chase rabbits, let them chase. And I had cats around my yard at that time, bunch of them. And I had one cat was pretty chill. and I swear she'd have litters every time my dogs would have litters. So you'd see them chasing her around, if not one. I got videos where I'd come home and hear them in the back, and they have her treed. They'd have her treed on the boat, or my neighbor call and be like, "Oh, it's so cute. All your puppies are over here treating my cat." And I'm like, man, yeah, until they get too old, and it's not so cute no more.
Now, yeah.
All I need is stretching a cat. Mm-hmm. And then, when they get 4 or 5 months old and they start wandering, I put them on a chain and chain break them, and and then like I do, I start dropping them with dogs. Who had a good podcast I thought was good was the Hound Dog. Bear Saragusa. What's his podcast? The Hunting Hound.
Hunting Dog.
The Hunting Hound, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Hunting Hound.
And he was talking about puppies, and he made a lot of sense as far as not running them too hard when they're little, and proper diet,
right, for their joints and stuff. Yeah.
And he went into how to pick a puppy, which everybody has their own little. With Labradors, I used to walk in if I was buying a bird dog, put them on a chair or table, and it was a table. And if he didn't walk around and try to figure out, I put a chair on one side. If he just jumped off the table, I thought he was stupid. If he walked around, jumped off the chair, I figured he was smart enough then. You know what I mean? So, but everybody has their own little way of doing it. And with hounds, like once you start kind of having your own, breeding your own hounds, it just kind of makes it easier, and you can raise the litter. It's hard for me to go pick a puppy out of a litter, because you don't get to spend no time with them. Me, I got 5, 6, 7 dogs running around the yard. I can watch them. You can watch and see which one's nosing down, which one's aggressive, which one, whatever. Niklas Espinoza. Snow hunting is awesome, but only if you like to catch lions constant. He was on me and Brett's, and we gave Niklas Espinoza a hard time for snow hunting. Benny got all riled up with him. But we still love him.
I'm not anti-snow hunting.
He's up in Idaho, I believe, where he gets a lot of snow.
Yeah. Well, some places you probably have
he's
to
up
hunt
there
the
where they
snow,
got
right?
a lot of lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, big lions.
Yeah.
I could see could see if you're hunting where there's also wolves, it'd probably be nice to hunt in the snow more so than dry ground, because you can see, you get a better idea what's around. I don't know.
No, snow will definitely train a puppy. It'll definitely catch a lion. I mean, I snow hunted for a while, and man, a good little 2 to 4 inch snow. I love a little 2, 4 inch snow. Yeah. You're not getting too stuck in it. You can see the tracks, but there's hardcore guys that hunt that 3-foot snow and snowmobiles.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's more of like a vehicle sport.
If you've got elk or moose in your area, and those animals are going to be up in that deep snow.
I love hunting in the desert.
Yep. No, I'm with you, Brett. Sorry. I'm with you, Chris. I like that. I like the bare ground, because then you can get around. There's no slipping. There's no getting stuck. It's a lot more predictable.
Yeah. That snow is good for getting your dogs under a tree for sure. Letting them see game. Yeah. Definitely. And I've said this 100 times to defend me talking shit about snow hunters. But I mean, it is a lot easier. But there is times it's tough. I'm not saying it's super easy, especially when you're trudging through 3 foot, 4 foot of snow. You know what I mean? But and it's good for getting your dogs under game. And going out and trailing all day, not catching something ain't exactly the best for your puppies. What are they might learn how to trail, but are they going to be real gritty when it comes time to tree? And, if they know what they're trying to smell, and you can get them under a tree in the snow, the rain, or it don't matter. In a volcano storm, who cares? As long as they're under the game, as long as they can taste that game. So,
yep.
How much hunting have you done during a volcano storm, Chris?
Plenty. I'm in Arizona. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. It gets really hot here.
What's a volcano storm? Is that a real
I
thing?
don't know.
Oh,
See,
okay.
here go Niklas trying to assess it. Everything. Stop it. Thank you, Nick. Come again. I see. We're gonna
Yes,
get
the
much hunting in the snow
snow,
this year.
the coast range was not great. We had a couple bouts of snow. This last one, we got a lot of snow, but it was so icy in the valley here that I couldn't drive it. I couldn't even drive to the grocery store. So like I couldn't get to the mountains to hunt. And then it kept snowing up there, and so I think there got like 3 feet in some places, and then it started melting and then refreezing, and then it started raining and then freezing at night. So you ended up with like this just disgusting mess of ice and snow, and not good. So I didn't hunt it at all.
So, do you guys just run studded tires at that point, or you just run chains all the time?
No, I don't really put chains on unless it's like I'm in an emergency situation. So
Nicholas had an
I feel ya.
Astro
I don't
van.
ever
He
put
wasn't
chains on
scared of
either. I got them,
nothing.
but I don't use them.
yeah, exactly.
I when do you use them? When you're stuck? That's about when I pull them out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
I
I'm
mean,
stuck.
I've only had to use them
They're
once
sitting
when
in
it
the
was
bed.
like,
Yep.
yeah, like when I was out and it snowed so much during the day that once I got back to the pavement, like there was, a foot of nasty snow, and I had to put chains on to get home. Thank you, Timothy.
I only put them on when I
I
can't make it
appreciate
up
your
a hill.
comment. Yeah.
I'll back up and take 30 runs at a hill before I put chains on.
Man, the other day, Sunday, uh, normally people are pretty friendly in the woods, but this guy, he came barreling down the road in a full-size pickup. And normally, you negotiate. Okay, I'm gonna pull over this way. You go around me. Like we're on these little logging roads. Well, this dude just barreled down the road, and I had to swerve out of the way, and I ended up fully in a ditch. And I almost had to have my friend come pull me out, but I don't know. I wiggled my way out of the ditch in my truck, but I was not happy. This dude, he saw me get stuck, and he knew I was stuck, and he didn't even stop to help. What a jerk.
What a jerk. So, what kind of tires are you running?
They're I can't remember what brand they are, but they're just like mud. I don't know. They were kind of cheap mud tires.
Yeah.
I'll be due for a new pair after this season. Yeah.
So if you're running
No,
I
like a
tell you,
stock size,
if you don't have
truck,
good tread,
so if you're running a
That's important.
stock size for your truck, I highly
Yeah.
recommend the Goodyear Wrangler Authority All Terrains, and they're like a in between a street tire and a mud tire.
Hmm.
They got like an
Okay.
aggressive looking all terrain tire.
Hmm.
I ran those. I still run those on my F250s and my F350s because I have a F350. My wife has the F250. I run those on the road, and I get 40 to 45,000 miles, depending on how much trailer towing I'm doing.
Nice.
But in my F350, I'll air them down to about 20 psi, and I'll drive through literally 24 inches of snow and just
Yeah,
cruise. Not an issue.
airing down seems to be the key.
Yep. Yeah. And then those tires. So the reason I like them is they're cheap. They're like for a load range E tire for it was a 265 75 16 for my F350 with a load range E. It was like $190 a tire. So they're cheap. You can get like I'd buy them through Walmart because Walmart's got through the road hazard warranty. And if I pop a tire, they do the, I don't know what they call it, the assessment on it saying, oh, it's got 50% tire left, so we'll knock off 50% on the next tire. So
discount tire.
Cool.
it's worth it.
With
No,
with
I'd go through
discount.
Walmart.
Ugh. Can't stand Walmart. I mean, I'm just saying, I
You know
don't
what?
represent nobody, and I haven't built
Something that's not
houses
like
or
it hangs
discount
out at
tires
Walmart all the time.
for anybody. But
Well, if someone wants to sponsor me, I'll go through their stuff and I'll tell them whether it's no good or good, because I go through some shit.
I'm not trying
Right
to.
now,
Yeah, I like
I've been
discount
wanting to try
warranty.
the yeah. I just went through Walmart because they were the cheapest at the time. I haven't tried discount tires since I looked at the last set of tires, but I'm getting ready to buy a set of new tires for my my hunting truck, which I'm in right now. Which is I want to buy probably some more of
Yeah.
the last set of mud trains I had on this are the Patagonia Milestar mud trains, and I get them in the load range E. I can air those down to about 13 psi in my Ranger, and I I beat the bejeebus out of them, and I mean beat them hard, and they've done well. But the compound that they use is soft, so if you're driving a lot of roads, they wear out fast. I got about 15,000 out of my last set, and it cost me like 850 or $900 for 5 tires. So, um, I'm sorry, no, 850 or $900 for 4 tires, and I bought 5 tires, which was like just under $1,100 installed, and that was through Walmart. I bought them and took them to Walmart, and it was just under $1,100 installed for everything. And they're great. And the only issue I've had with them is I popped sidewall on one, and that's because I had it under 10 psi, and I hit a sharp rock. Other than that, I haven't had a single issue with them. They're pretty good tires, and I hear their new compound is a lot better, a lot harder, so it's better on the road. But I haven't bought any of those yet, and I'm thinking about buying a new set of those this summer for next fall to see how they do in the mud and snow, because we get everything here in Nevada. So
I've been running Pathfinders since 2005, and they're load range Ds. I ran them on my 3/4 tons. I run them on everything. Everything I get is, and they're from Discount Pathfinder. I've been running them since 2005. Those things last. My first set lasted 4 years on my Cummins, and I had
it's pretty good.
100,000 miles on them. They were ridiculous. That's all I run on my Tundras, and they're 290s, 299 or 30, not 305s, 295s, 295. I've had two sets on my truck now, and it's been I'm at 130,000 miles.
On a single set of tires?
Man, my internet is glitching. I don't know if your guys is like Pathfinders. They're all terrain. They do great in the snow. They do great in the mud. And I think they discontinued them again. They do it every so often. And because my dad runs the same tires, and I guess he went to get one, and they're like, yeah, we don't have them no more. So now they'll come out again in a year or two. I don't know why they do that, but they're great tires. Great. They last on the road. I mean, they literally last, and they
How
just
do they do
grip
on the
like you
gravel
wouldn't
roads?
believe. I run a lot of cinders. There's cinders up here. And I had one set that kind of crumbled up on me, but I'm talking, I bet you I had 20 to 25,000 miles on dirt road cinders, like hardcore, but their warranties, discounts, warranties. I can't beat the warranties. Everything I have is discount. If you look at when I go on a discount and anywhere and I look at my record, I have like hundreds of tires. I think I bought I don't know, 40 something tires last year. So
Are they paying you the same?
between all
How many
cars and
vehicles
trailers,
you
I have a lot
got?
of vehicles.
Man. So yeah, usually what I'll do is I'll
Oh,
go on Amazon or Discount Tire.
registered running.
Or not, well, I'm sorry, not Discount Tire, but I'll search all over the internet for whatever the cheapest price for the size tire that I want is, and then I'll order it, ship it to the house, then I'll take it to like Walmart to get it installed.
Tires are important. Moral of the story. Oh, can't hear you, Chris. He
Yeah.
wore out his internet.
So yeah, I'm just a cheap ass, and I go around and I find the cheapest deal on the tires, and I take them to the places that's the cheapest to install them, and Mountain Balance is basically the gist of what I do. We do have Discount Tire in town.
Mhm.
I've never really went to them and never checked them.
Yeah.
Right on.
They'll,
Hey, Chris, I actually got to get going, but yeah, thanks for having me on here.
well, good. Go buy. Tell us where you can buy your book. People need to read this book.
Yeah.
I like I said, it's great because you were like new into it, and you wrote the book as you was like struggling through it. And there's some good stories in there. Good story, and there's some good. Is that you on the back?
Yeah, that's me. 2 years ago.
Man, I'm gonna have to blur that out. It's a lot of hair.
I'll post a link in the chat real quick. If that's okay.
Yep. Amazon audio version.
Yes.
He has an audio
Yeah.
version.
Yes, sir. Yep. And I read the audio version. I recorded it myself, so you can hear me read it to you. It turned out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It just took me so long to mix it, which yeah. So I put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll
you can
buy
buy
it,
a
one of the
paperback
the
version.
paper
Hey, you
copy.
see that comment right here? Look at this comment. You see this comment right there?
Yeah.
Someone put that on my last video, and he went on there and kind of defended it and said, "Hey, have you ever been lion hunting or anything?" My last video, someone commented that. Well, it looks like you don't know what you're doing. You'll learn. I'm all. I never said I did, but hey, I get it done sometimes. You know what I mean? It's a grain of salt with me. I was going to talk. This is just people who get on the internet and have to say something negative. Like it's gonna. I have thick skin,
Right.
man. I don't bother me, and I could go and get crazy with this guy. That used to be my hobby, to get on Facebook and MySpace and start trouble because people get crazy. I mean, and it's all you got to do is poke them a little bit. And this guy got on there and said, "It looks like you don't know what you're doing, and good luck. I guess you'll learn." I'm all, come teach
Here's
me.
one thing.
Teach me.
Here's one thing I
Right.
like about the book versus videos. It takes a lot of effort to read my stupid book. So if you want to read the whole thing and criticize it, please be my guest. Buy the book. Hey, you can criticize me all you want. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Leave me a review. You can leave me a bad review. I don't care. But you have to really put in a lot of effort versus just sitting there staring at your phone, coming up with stupid things to comment. So.
Yep.
Oh,
it is. It's crazy.
But there's always going to be those country blues that are always. They don't know what they're talking about. They ain't never followed a hound. They ain't never walked.
I'll tell you who it was.
Lion. They ain't nothing.
It wasn't Country Blue. He was making fun of it because I think he's the one that defended it. Got on there and talked crap to the guy. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to bust this guy out. I'm going to tell you who this guy is because that's who I am. Let me see. Let me go to my video here real quick.
It's a Jared
Fisher.
Gotta
find the comment. It probably was.
Hey, real quick. So I tried posting the link in the chat, but it wouldn't let me. So I'm just going to email it to you, Chris, okay?
All right.
And then maybe you can put it in the description or something.
All right. I'll do it. Yeah, I will. I will do that.
I appreciate it.
Let's see here. And if anybody wants to go out and make videos and edit them, and you're stupid. Trust me. I know it's right, Nick. Is it not
Yeah,
like
it's
time consuming and
an extreme
yeah.
amount of work. Unless you literally just record one super long video and post it without editing anything, which I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to try to make something that's nice to watch, it takes a ton of effort. That's why I kind of had to
Yeah.
stop doing it, because I don't want to put out a piece of crap, but I just don't have the
Well,
time
if
to
you guys have quit
sit there
trying,
and
the rest of
craft
us
a
can
video.
do it and not be worried about how bad it looks.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
It's Gunner.
Yeah.
Gunner 4373 on YouTube. That's the guy. He said, "Can
So
tell you don't
anybody
know what
that's
you're
got
doing."
that kind of it, they're just nothing but a freaking what do they
Yeah.
call them? Not a spammer.
Keyboard
they're
warrior?
a well, that
Scallywag.
too, but they're oh gosh, they're a troll. They're a troll. They're
Oh,
they're
that's
like
all he
troll.
is.
Yeah.
So Country
so
Blues
it's
got
just
on
a
there.
fake account.
Well, he has like stuff on it, but so Country Blues got on there and said, "How many hunts you been on, Gunner? Don't mean to be an ass. Well, actually, I don't mind being an ass, but there's always zero chance you know more than him about lions and bear hunting. I'll lay odds you never done it, not once, but like most of the idiots in today's world, being critical and negative is all you know. Bless your heart." That's what Country
drop the
Blues
facts.
put to him.
I'm sorry, Country Blues.
Yeah.
I was wrong. You weren't the jackass. It was that the other.
I know. I
guy.
had to defend that real quick. He got on there and
Yep.
he said, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot." So thank you, Country Blues.
Good job, Country Blues. Sorry about that.
Guys, I gotta take off. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming
All
on.
right, Nick.
Have
a good night.
I'll get the
No
description
problem.
to your book. All right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I'll try to jump on here again with you guys at some point if you'll have me.
Well, you're gonna have to, because we're gonna do this. Okay. Teach this idiot Chris how to run the 300i.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that was your idea. That was your idea.
I think it'll be fun. Yes.
So I think
we're
a lot of people
do a
would
live
benefit
stream of walking you through setting up your 300i and your new TG25s. It's gonna be dope.
I'm gonna be angry.
Sweet. All right.
Thanks,
See
Niklas.
you guys. Have a great night.
Later.
Yep. Bye.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Well, Rowdy.
Yes, sir.
Been on an hour and 45 minutes. You got some drinking to do.
I tried to start before this, but you interrupted me, so now I'm going to go back and finish it.
Well, it's only 6:42 where you are, so you got a lot night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got any last words to all of our listeners?
If you want to do it, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
You know,
plain and simple.
Go buy a pup trainer,
or find somebody to do it with.
Absolutely.
Find somebody to go with and take over their dogs. Go feed them, water them, take care of them. You know, go through the steps before you go out, and because what's going to happen, you're going to get a dog, and someone else is going to give you a dog. You think, "Woo, I got a pack." We just talked about this on Monday Night Live with Brett and Benny, and then someone else, and we all do it wrong because we get all these dogs and we're going to go catch lions. Because you watch the videos, you know, of the guys going out in 30 minutes catching a lion, or the
and you lost your speaker or your mic. Can't hear you. So no, you're absolutely right. I did wrong too. I bought a couple pups, and then I started training pups and walking them out tracks. Not until I got a pup trainer did I actually get a lion jumped. And then once I got a lion jumped, I realized my pups were inadequate. My old pup trainer just wasn't doing it enough. And then I was able to get another pup trainer. And, you know, it's just sometimes all you can do is try. But the more you try, the more opportunity you're going to have to make it work.
Yep. Get out there. Got to get out
Yeah.
there. You got to learn your dogs. You got to learn
That's
your
all
dogs
you
too.
can do.
And
Yeah,
they'll
like I
teach
said,
you.
Oh, absolutely. I can't tell you how much stuff I've learned. My dogs, granted, I started off with pups that were about 6 months old that first year. So, 6 months old going into their first season, they tried. They did try. I'm gonna give them that, but they just couldn't figure it out. We had that line up and running because that old pup trainer, but they couldn't seal the deal. I went 2 years of lion hunting without catching a lion. My third season, I got one caught, and now this is my fifth season. And I went from it went 1 to 9, and then I'm only at 1 this year, just because the work and being sick and family stuff and being broke, and I haven't been able to hunt much this year. But my dogs this year are better than they were last year. And if I was able to hunt as much as I should be able to, or should have been hunting, they'd be a lot better than they would be right now, and than they are now. And right now, they're getting to the point where they can follow a bare ground trail. If I was able to hunt enough to get onto a fresh enough track, so.
But you never gave up.
You just got to do it. Yeah, you can't give up. Doesn't matter, if you go a month and a half, 2 months without getting a track. Eventually, those dogs are going to find a track, or you're going to find a track, and you're going to be able to walk that track out, whether it's in the snow or whether it's on the bare ground. Just keep after it, and don't get discouraged. That's the best way to put it.
Words from a lion hunter. Words from a lion hunter who's probably hated himself more than once and wanted to quit everything and save your money and go find another hobby. We've all been there.
I can't tell you, if I'd listened to Jared more times than I didn't, then I'd probably be $1,000 richer, thousands of dollars richer. So
I need to get him back on here. He has real bad internet too, man. So
yeah, he's such a wealth of knowledge, and if you just talk to him and you listen to the little tidbits that he'll throw out to you, just and he knows a shit ton, just a shit ton. He's one of those guys that if I think if he had pushed his guidance service harder, as in like advertising more, or just try, instead of just trying to do he's still in the infant stage of his outfitting business, right? But if later in the next 10 years, 15 years, if he were to do more advertising, and then he gets a bigger kennel for himself, because he's really good with his dogs too, like his training aspect, talking to him. If he were to expand his kennel, and if he is able to keep the revenue coming, he's going to be one of those well-known guys that, those Jeff Allens.
Yeah.
No,
he will be.
He's going to be a Dale Lee or anything, but
never know.
Those Mike Roots, Jeff Allens.
I think it's hard to be those guys anymore, because those old times are over, and now you got to hunt like
it is. Yeah.
Not just legal. You gotta be careful. You really do. You got a lot of limitations.
You're absolutely right.
And Timothy, Monday night, Brett's service crashed on him. That's why it just ended Monday night. So our Monday Night Live just ended, and I thought it was mine. And then we had guests on. We had Bear Saragusa, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I'm trying to log back on." Look, Brarely Mason, I don't like you, because I see all the time all the meat you get. Drives me crazy. This guy always gets meat for his dogs. Always buckets of meat, runs around all over, puts in the time to get this meat. So I
How does he
love
get
feeding
it?
my
Like, what's
dog.
he doing?
You just got to hit everywhere, expired, butchers. You got to take the time, right, Brarely? I don't really hate you. I just dislike you right now. When you have 100 pounds of
Yeah.
chicken, man. Chicken used to be so cheap. I would go buy the 10 pounds of chicken and mix it with rice, and I would feed my dogs chicken and rice. But now,
Yeah.
when we kill all of our animals, I I save everything, everything.
Yeah.
So I do all my cut. I don't do cuts. I do hamburger. I do roast. That is it. And later on, I take the roast. I make steaks out of it. I make stew out of it. Whatever I want. But all
Mhm.
that I freeze all that other stuff. Like when I went with Jared, I had a of big bag of meat. Just actually, that was bear meat I got from somebody that had the fat on it. So I cut all the fat off to make soap or whatever, and I kept the meat. And so there's a lot of fat still in there in meat, and that's what I fed my dogs all week. I fed them dog food,
Nice.
but when we went and ran and got home, I would throw them, man, a good 1 pound chunk of meat. So if you can feed
Are you
meat,
giving it
man,
to him raw?
yeah, yep.
Yeah. So what I like to do is in these cold days, like even tonight, what I'll do is I'll take any scraps or leftover grease, and then whenever I wash the pans, right, I rinse it out with hot water,
Mm-hmm.
and I dump it
Oh yeah,
into a pot, and then I dump it into a 5-gallon bucket on top of the dog food, and I mix it all up, and I'll throw some more
yep,
hot water in with it, and then so that way, even though the dogs aren't drinking, whenever they eat, they're already getting
yep,
wet food, so it's keeping them
yep,
hydrated. And then whenever they're hunting, they're eating snow, or they're hitting whatever creeks or whatever
yep.
water source they can find to stay hydrated during the day. But every night, it's especially during the winter when it's cold and they don't want to drink, I'm giving them wet food, and I'll
Especially
throw
that
table
warm.
scraps.
Yep,
Yep.
especially that warm.
Yeah.
I knew a
So warm
guy.
food. Yep.
I used to go to a Mexican restaurant and I had pigs, and this is no lie. There, weekends especially, there would be too much of it. I'd have to just dump it in the dumpster. But anyways, it was so much. They would scrape plates for me, and they had 30-gallon trash cans. And there'd be times we show up and there'd be 8 of those full of everything. They just scraped everything.
Wow.
So I'd feed it to my pigs. But when I'm shoveling for my pigs, there'd be big briskets and big chunks of meat in there, man. I loved it. And I would just feed that to my dog. And I knew a guy who did that same thing from a restaurant and fed his dogs everything. He didn't sift through
Yeah.
it. He slopped it in there, and his dogs are fat. And they lived.
No,
They all lived to be
absolutely.
over
Yeah.
10 years old.
Yep.
So, mhm.
That's the thing. So
Well,
my dogs
thanks for coming
that
on.
that yeah, 11 years old is about what I've been getting out of dogs, and I don't know what that um is that what average people have been getting out of dogs, about 11? And there your mic quit again. There it
I
is.
don't know why it does that. It does it every once in a while. I hadn't
Yeah.
done it. So I had my original dog was 14 before I pulled her and only let her go to the
Mhm.
tree from the truck, not run the race. It's crazy.
Yep.
My other dog was almost 12 and he was still running, but he got strep in his leg, like his skin fell off. I had to put him down. It was a crazy, I don't know,
Poor
either
guy.
got bit by a coyote or gored by an elk, whatever it was. My dog now, Dirty, is 10 this year, and he's still going really strong. I don't know if it's just,
Good. Good.
it's like people. Yeah. So maybe it's how I feed them. I feed them a lot of meat. I, if I think if you feed them a lot of meat and stuff, you don't have to worry about the dry dog food as much. You kind of feed them whatever you
Okay.
want. And I alternate. I
Yeah.
fed everything from Old Roy to Diamond. So it's kind of whatever is
Yeah.
available, and I'll mix it even, and I'll probably be the bad guy, and everybody's like, you can't You can. My horses though, my mules, I always dirty feed them. I don't. You know what I mean? I'm not a big schedule guy, and I've had great luck. Maybe I've just had great luck. Never lost a mule or horse to colic. Never just lost a dog to like. I've been lucky on that. I've never had a dog killed by a bear, lion. You know,
Yeah.
so just been lucky. Maybe I just been lucky.
Yeah.
Time without cutting it. Oh yeah, typically trail before treeing a lion
Yep.
on average.
Yeah.
If you're,
Yeah.
did you
See,
read
and
this comment?
yeah, I'm reading it right now. So that what people don't understand is how sparse the game is in these high desert areas, and it's not because of the terrain. It's because of, like, right here we're in the rain shadow, right? So there's not a whole lot of moisture. I'm sure if there was a lot more rainfall here, we'd have a lot more um, game animals for the lions to hunt, right? And I'm sure it's something similar in your area. Well, I'm sorry, your area, you get a lot more water, but it's just so dry. For like, you get monsoons that give you most of your water during the summer, right? And your winters are dry.
Mine down here.
Brett, Chris, I'm sorry.
Ah,
Yeah, down
dang
there
it.
in Arizona.
So in down where I hunt in the winters, like if I'm working down here, is desert, not a lot of moisture.
Yeah.
Up north, so I live in Sholo, which is it gets snow up there. So I kind of hunt both. I'm kind of a snowbird. I stay out of the snow typically, just because I like to hunt the desert. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing: this guy to answer Nicholas's question. Listen to Brett's go to Brett's interview stories and tales page. Listen to all those old guys. Mike Roots has been 10 days and not and hunted and he hunts. Guy hunts. Listen to Mike Roots. Listen to Terry Shelley. All those guys, listen to them. There's days you
Yeah.
go, weeks. He's right, weeks, multiple weeks. But that can go for snow hunting too. Unless you're in a super good area. But Brett and Benny the other night, Monday night, said, if you want to catch game, put yourself in game, basically. Like I hunt a shitty
Mm-hmm.
area. I know there's very little lion here. I only do it because they have Sonora and Pronghorn here, and I'm trying to save them guys, basically. And I'm down here working. And it's 45-minute drive. I can be pretending to hunt dry ground. But if you're in somewhere that has like down south on the border, where most of the time you can catch a track every couple miles, you're gonna put yourself in there, and you have a better chance. But me and Jared were down there for 7 days, and I think we got maybe I want to say 3 or 4 tracks altogether we found, and a couple of those were probably the same lion. Why did they move out? Did the jaguar come in and push them out? Did all the bird hunters and all the deer hunters kind of pressure him out? I don't know. But Jared catches shit over there all the time. That's why Jared went there, because that's where he catches shit. And we just and I went 7 days, caught I caught 3 tracks. One was really old. You know, one was a couple days old, right before we got to camp, going out of our camp. And the other one was down by where Jared cut that line. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Dry ground is tough.
And I don't know what the density is down there where you are, but so say you have a mountain range that's 10 miles wide here and then 100 miles long, you might have anywhere from 3 to 5 lions in that 10-mile wide, 100-mile long range here. So you've got to find where those lines cross within that, 7 to 15 hour range or whatever, your dogs are able to trail in that 100-mile range in a morning, right? So, and there might be in that 100-mile range, there's only going to be 5 to 10 roads that intersect that on either side of that mountain. So which road are you going to pick?
Mm-hmm.
It's a crapshoot on which road you're going to take based off of
Well,
what you think, and it's so hard to judge where those lines might be. But during the winter, yeah, the deer are gonna, and it even varies by range here, whether those deer are gonna stay up on the mountain or they're gonna migrate out. So you might hit one mountain range where these deer are gonna stay up on the mountain because the wind blows so hard that it's going to leave those south slopes or the east slopes, or I'm sorry, the west slopes barren, that those deer can get out there and feed and sustain them in the winter. Or in these other areas, that they're going to migrate out completely. So you might hunt that mountain range. There might not be any deer in that entire mountain range because they've moved to another mountain range 100 miles south. So you've got to figure that out, whether that mountain range has even got deer in it out here. And then, or are you going to go to that mountain range where that holds deer year round, or are you going to go to that mountain range that doesn't have deer in the summer but it has deer in the winter? And that's where the lions are going to come from a couple different ranges to that one range. It's such a crapshoot here. It's really hard. You got to know the migration routes. You got to know what the game does in order to follow the predators here.
yeah. Yep. And here's the worst part about it all. You're looking for a 3-inch track. A 3-inch track in all that area. All that area.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're doing a big circle, even on a mule or a horse, you're hoping your dogs come across that 3-inch track. That one little line, and if you're doing a circle,
Yep.
that line was 20 yards to the left that night, them dogs may not hit it,
Yeah.
So, and I've been.
You could be riding over the top of that track, and just because he walked through a spot that had larger pebbles and didn't squish down to show a track, shit, you walked right over that track without seeing it.
Yep.
Or you drove that
And
road. He walked instead of walking through the sand, he walked across that hard packed dirt,
Mm-hmm.
and you just missed it.
Yep. It's a lot of fun. If you want to challenge yourself, go do dry ground. So,
It's darn sure fun. Like, and then once you make it all happen, it's just so cool. So cool.
I think there's more satisfaction of a challenge of catching a dry ground, and some people don't like dry ground. Some people don't like snow. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's our opinion, right, Rowdy?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's right.
I mean, I'll hunt the snow if it's available, but I'm gonna hunt the bare ground whether there's snow or not.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, Rowdy, I think we should cut her short. It's only been 2 hours.
All right. That's it.
So, I appreciate you
I'm gonna
jumping
head
on.
back to camp and make some dinner. Yeah,
Go
thanks
catch
for the
some
invite.
lions.
Sorry if I talked too much.
We all talk too much. That's why we're on here. well, I'll get a report from you next week. See how you did.
Yeah, it'll probably be nothing,
Rowdy.
but I'm gonna try. Yep.
That's all that matters.
Have a good night.
All right, Rowdy. 10 dad. Oh yeah, here we. 10 bad days of hunting. Oh, having a hard time here. 10 bad days of hunting is better than 1 day of work. That's a fact. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Niklas, go check out his book. Listen, I'm having a hard time with my mic today. I don't know why it's doing it. It keeps shutting off. So I'll be quick. The view of somebody who's only been in it a couple years is phenomenal. So go check out his book, Cat Dog Chronicles. Get on Amazon. I'll post a link in this. I'll post a link in the description of this video. You can still go watch this on YouTube. You'll upload. Thanks for coming. Go check out. Here's his book, Cat Dog Chronicles. Go donate to Sportsmen for Heroes. .com so he can take some kids, and he takes sick kids and cancer kids and needy kids and veterans out. And SaveTheHuntColorado.com. Go check that out. Donate $10. It's going to help every hunter in the end. I promise you this. I don't care what anybody says. It don't work. It will work. I got a new video that came out a couple days ago. Go watch it. If you can, like it, subscribe to it. Leave a comment on it. Tell me that I suck and I don't know what I'm doing. It's amusing. Monday night, we'll be back on with Brett. And I don't know what we're doing this Monday, but we'll be on.